Now at 9, Pittsburgh's fire chief announces he's stepping back from his chief role. Plus, your car gets new protection today. How a new Missouri House bill is turning vehicle break-ins into felonies.
Carl Junction Mayor Mike Moss is removed from office after being found guilty on 4 articles of impeachment. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Tonight, the Carl Junction Board of Aldermen votes to impeach their city's mayor. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. It took 2 evenings of hearings and hours of testimony to convict Mayor Mike Moss on all 4 counts. Tuesday night, city employees began testifying about alleged workplace harassment, including inappropriate physical positioning and comments that made coming to work difficult. Moss was also investigated for repeatedly asking the city administrator about retirement plans. The mayor's legal team called the proceedings voter nullification. The council members said impact matters more than intention. And tonight, the board voted to remove Moss from office immediately, declaring the mayor's position vacant. We'll have more on the mayor's impeachment and tonight's hearing later in the show. Pittsburgh Fire Chief Taylor Cherney will be transitioning to battalion chief after leading the department for 3 years. His new role will be more hands-on as he'll work more closely with emergency response operations. And though Cherney says he's proud of his work as chief, he says he found the administrative side less fulfilling.
Overall, it was the best choice for my family, for my career, and I believe for the department. I love running calls. I love going to fires, to medical calls, and being on the truck and being that guy who is able to make a direct difference in somebody's life.
During his time as chief, the department purchased a new engine and is on the verge of acquiring another. Self-contained breathing apparatuses were improved as well. Cherney will remain chief until the department names a replacement. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
We had quite a bit of rainfall today. Now you can see out in the Nevada area, not so much, but right when we hit this line that included Pittsburgh, Joplin, Monette, all the way up to Yates Center, we started to see about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, but further south and southwest, we got up to 6 to 10 inches of rainfall accumulation today. So quite a bit of storms and just consistent rain. Now as we head into the rest of the evening tonight, no more rain on the radar. Tonight's going to be fairly clear, but we do have fog moving in. Patchy fog developing late tonight is going to be causing some visibility issues as we head through Friday morning. Now, outside of that, a few clouds, temperatures dropping down into the low 60s, even upper 50s. So we do have a cool night, and then that fog really affects us as we head through the morning hours on Friday. Plus, I'm going to have a look at your Labor Day weekend forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Missouri District 163 Representative Kathy Jo Loy visited Carthage High School today to speak with students about representative government. The Republican talked about the chambers of state government, how bills are signed into law, and how democratic republics function. The students were given time after Loy spoke to ask her questions about policy and government. Well, Missouri's sweeping safety bill, House Bill 495, goes into effect today. Much of it focuses on property crimes. As Adam Woodbury reports, one of the biggest changes targets vehicle break-ins and punishing those criminals.
So hopefully this will be the deterrent that we need that will curb that instinct and that opportunity for suspects to do that.
Every year when August 28th rolls around, the newest public safety laws go into effect. Each year, lawmakers approve a slew of changes, often focusing on a specific type of crime. This year, property crimes are a hot topic.
In this particular instance, House Bill 495 does make some significant modifications, and you can tell that the House is really wanting to crack down on vehicle break-in.
Defense attorney Adam Woody says the legislature created a new statute when it comes to vehicle break-ins. Doing that is now a second-degree burglary and a Class E felony that could get you 4 years in prison.
So if someone unlawfully enters a vehicle for the purpose of committing a crime therein, and that would be any part of the body entering that vehicle, or even an object connected to the body entering the vehicle, that's now burglary along with buildings or inhabitable structures.
A lot of car break-ins happen when crooks check handles for unlocked doors. That's something this new law hopes to crack down on.
So if an individual is going around and checking the handles and trying to get into several different vehicles, for example, in a parking lot or parking garage, and we have that evidence they've been doing that, now with this new law, we can charge them with a felony.
The bill also goes over organized retail theft, which Springfield Police Lieutenant Jennifer Charleston says will crack down on thieves who are targeting multiple stores and people who try to make money by returning goods or reselling them.
So this is going to be very helpful for us because it adds another tool for us to hold criminals accountable from stealing from our area businesses here in Springfield.
These are just two parts of the new law. It also increases prison times for people convicted of sex trafficking, ends non-disclosure agreements in sexual abuse cases, and it increases penalties for tampering with water supplies in Missouri. Well, coming up, the shooter's story.
We're learning more about the gunman behind yesterday's deadly mass shooting at a Catholic church. I'm Connor Hansen in Minneapolis. The latest on the investigation coming up.
But up first, how back-to-school germs can worsen your child's asthma symptoms. Besides checking off back-to-school supply lists, medical experts say parents should be checking in on their students' health as they start a new academic year. This is especially true for students who may be vulnerable to back-to-school germs, like kids with asthma. Fox News' Ted Linder takes a closer look at how guardians can help guard their children from the spread of germs.
It might not be a surprise to most families that back-to-school season can also spell the return of coughs and sniffles. But according to public health experts, exposure to respiratory viruses like the common cold and the flu can lead to an uptick in emergency room visits for students with asthma at the start of a new academic year.
Asthma attacks driven by viruses tend to peak when children go back to school. And there's an overall greater burden in children living in poorer neighborhoods. They tend to spike more quickly in poorer neighborhoods.
Besides crowded classrooms and environmental stressors, researchers at the University of Texas at Austin say viruses can also spread easily if caregivers who lack access to sick leave have to send their kids to school if they're ill. And students with asthma may be more vulnerable.
When children go back to school, they are exposed to common cold viruses in the school environment in a way that they're not exposed in the summertime. In the first few weeks of school, as many as 9 out of every 10 asthma attacks are triggered by viruses.
Signs asthma symptoms may be flaring up can include
coughing, chest tightness, difficulty breathing.
Health specialists say parents of students with asthma should have an action plan in place with their child's school.
To have their asthma medication available at school to help protect the child from an asthma emergency.
Meanwhile, advising all students to cover their coughs and sneezes and to wash their hands before eating can also help combat the spread of viruses that can trigger asthma attacks. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay's next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, CASA employees receive a storm-proof playhouse after a local church steps in to make the project a reality.
KOAM Plus at 3 starting September 8th on KOAM TV.
We got quite a bit of rain today, and that kept us much cooler than we have been for the last couple of days, only in the upper 60s. Now we can go ahead and take a look at our almanac for today. We got up to about 68 degrees, 20 degrees below average. Now our lows right on par, so we're doing pretty good there. Now we also had a bit of rainfall. Now in the Joplin area, only about an inch of rain. You can see just to the north of Joplin, saw less than that, only about a half an inch to a quarter of an inch of rainfall accumulation. Now the further southwest we go, Miami got about 3 inches of rain. Out there in Coffeyville, just south of Independence, 8.5 inches of rain. Now Veneta saw about 10 inches, and Jay about another 8 inches of rain as well. So you got quite a bit of a heavy band of rain just went through Oklahoma and parts of southeastern Kansas. The rest of us only had light sprinkles all day long. That was caused by a warm front that stalled over us, and that just gives us that days of drizzle and overcast. Now, luckily, our rain chances were confined to today, but we are going to deal with some cloudy skies through the night tonight. As you can see, taking a look outside downtown Joplin, still got a lot of overcast skies out there, and we're going to start the morning off with dense, patchy fog in the area. So this is now just after midnight, already seeing fog moving into the area. Once we get closer to the morning hours, fog becomes very dense in some areas, less than half a mile visibility, Iola, Fort Scott, Lamar as well. Now continuing into the morning when it starts to affect people waking up, going to school, going to work, and this is about 7 a.m. Zero visibility out in Chanute, Carthage, Aurora, Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, less than half a mile visibility out there. You can see in Iola, Girard as well. Now, the Joplin area also is going to see visibility dropping just before 9 a.m. when it starts to clear out. Now, moving forward to the holiday weekend, we're going to be dealing with cloudy skies and dodging showers as well. So here we are, Friday afternoon, starting to get off work and head out of town or outside to get some sunshine up there in our northeastern counties, but still a lot of cloud coverage out there in Oklahoma and even in southeastern Kansas. Then we turn into more upper level clouds, so that gives us still some good sunshine amounts. Heading into Friday night, could see an isolated shower or two, but mostly going to stay with just cloudy skies and fog developing again late Friday night into Saturday morning. Then we're seeing a lot of cloud coverage, partly cloudy skies for most of the weekend, and then we're getting these hit and miss showers all weekend long. There you can see them out in southeastern Kansas. These are going to be more of those pop-up showers. Now we get those Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Most of us are going to stay dry, but you're going to be dodging some pop-up storms across the area as well. Now temperatures stay phenomenal for the weekend. We're going to be in the low to mid 80s. So can't complain about that. Not going to be too hot. And for the most part, like I said, we're going to stay dry, but a couple areas might get a couple pop-up storms, typical for summertime, so you can't really escape that.
Yeah, not a bad forecast though, and we need the rain.
Yeah, we do.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, coming up next, changes in the Joplin housing market. Find out if now is a good time to buy or sell your home. The Joplin housing market is going through a slight shift when it comes to inventory of homes and the people wishing to buy their next residence. KOAM's Ty Parks takes us for a closer look at the market and shows us how it's changing.
I know our average price is like about $235,000 average price on the market.
A house on average sells after 41 days on the market. That's according to Realtor.com as of July 2025. That's 1 day decrease from 42 days on the market, Realtor.com reported in June.
I think our market is pretty good. Some people say we don't have enough houses on the market. That's kind of been an ongoing thing, probably since 2008.
Realtor.com says the Joplin market is becoming a buyer's market.
What that would mean is then the prices are going down, and buyers can get a better buy. That's usually what they're talking about. You know, if it's a seller's market, the seller's kind of controlling the price and you can get what you want. As it switches or goes over to a buyer's market, then the prices are going down and the buyers can get a better buy. I'm not sure I go for that here, but it might be a little bit.
Home prices in Joplin can range from above $500,000 to as low as $39,000, but the buyers tend to go for the median price.
$126,000, which is a good, a popular price point. Probably $100 to $200, maybe $250 might be the most popular prices right now. Although I've seen homes in this price range sell pretty quickly too. So.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development says that existing home sales fell nationwide.
The one thing about the Joplin market, it doesn't really reflect the other places, I don't think. I think our market is good. It's been good. We may not have as many homes on the market as we want, but it's always a pretty good market.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Now, according to real estate professionals we spoke to, it's best to buy a home when you feel you're ready, not when you feel the market is ready. Well, coming up next, we take you to a packed house with Pitt State football fans cheering on the Gorillas season opener.
Are you ready for a
Well, football season is officially underway for Gorilla fans. Fans gathered at the Pit in Pittsburgh tonight to cheer on the Gorillas in their season opener against Ferris State. Now, the watch party featured food and drink specials, with the crowd rallying together to kick off the football season.
I've been a Pittsburgh State University football fan my entire life. There's a photo of my grandpa showing up to the hospital the day I was born with Pitt State booties. So I've been loving Pitt State football for as long as I can remember. I'm a 2023 Pitt State grad, and I just love Pitt State football.
Well, unfortunately, the final score of that game was Pitt State 17, Ferris State 34. And Ryan will have more from the game later in sports. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Carl Junction city leaders vote to impeach the city's mayor. What led to his ousting? And a community shaken by senseless violence. The latest on the deadly mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minnesota.
for Honda? You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. After hours of testimony, the Carl Junction Board of Aldermen vote to remove Mayor Mike Moss from the office. The impeachment hearing comes after 4 articles of impeachment were brought against Mayor Moss following allegations of workplace harassment. KOAM's Samantha Walker was at the hearing and has the details.
The environment at City Hall has become hostile and diminished by the mayor's words and actions. That working directly under a person who believes that they've obtained and kept their position not by merit but by unethical means, they don't believe they can work there.
You know, like they claim they heard stuff on me, I was hearing stuff about city employees making back. I mean, but I wanted to get a level playing field.
On Tuesday, night 1 of the impeachment hearing, multiple current and former city employees testified about their interactions with Mayor Mike Moss. They detailed instances of alleged workplace harassment from Moss, as well as the physical, mental, and professional impacts from the behavior.
He does not know me enough to place his foot on the file cabinet and present himself to me over a cookie.
And if that's who is running everything, if that's what he believes about me, I have no joy left in this job. I still do it and I do it well, but it's so hard to come to work.
Moss was also investigated for allegedly asking city administrator Steve Lawver when he planned to retire multiple times.
And so you told him it was inappropriate to discuss that matter, and so was that the end of it?
No, the next day he asked me the same thing again.
Moss's lawyer says the case is not about harassment but voter nullification because people want the mayor out of office. He says that's why the allegations are coming out now rather than any other time Moss was in office.
Never during that time did anyone raise an issue regarding his conduct.
I have been there 3 years. I have not worked with Mike. I had no hard feelings until I was told that I was part of a harem that needed to be cleaned out.
Moss's legal team don't deny that he made the Steve's harem comment, but that its meaning has been misconstrued.
Maybe it was in bad taste. It certainly, there was nothing sexual about it. A harem is an area in a Muslim household where the women are free to associate with each other.
Moss took to the stand to say he didn't mean any harm with the harem comment, but that he simply found it funny.
What did you think the word meant that made it funny?
It was just a hoot. You know, just guys get together and say some things sometimes just for a laugh.
but council members say it's about impact, not intention.
It matters how that was perceived by the person that is offended. And that's why this gets to be such a bad thing at the end of the day.
The Carl Junction Board of Aldermen voted to find Moss guilty on all 4 articles of impeachment. They then passed a resolution to remove him from office effective immediately.
The city shall proceed in accordance with the ordinances of the city and state law to fill such vacancy.
Reporting in Carl Junction, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, according to the legal team assisting with the impeachment process, the mayor's seat will remain vacant until the Board of Aldermen appoints someone to it. An election will be held next April to elect someone to fill the rest of Moss's term. Well, Florida's controversial state-run immigration detention center located in the Everglades could soon be cleared out. This comes as Governor Ron DeSantis fights a federal judge's order to close the facility down by late October. The number of detainees at the facility have dropped by more than half as a result of an uptick in deportations. The drop comes after a federal judge ordered the center to be shut down due to environmental concerns. The state has asked to keep the facility open while appealing the ruling. And police are still trying to piece together a motive following Wednesday's deadly shooting at a Catholic church in Minneapolis. It comes as lawmakers call for action to prevent similar tragedies. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more.
Investigators are reviewing a manifesto and hundreds of pieces of evidence after a mass shooting at a Catholic church in Minneapolis that left 2 children dead and nearly 20 other people injured.
The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable.
The shooter was a former student at the church's school, whose mother also worked at the parish. The 23-year-old had no prior arrests or any documented history of mental health problems.
What we have seen so far is this is an individual who, unfortunately, like so many other mass shooters, had some deranged fascination with previous mass shootings and very disturbing writings that demonstrate hatred towards many different individuals and different groups of people.
Investigators believe the shooter barricaded the side doors of the church and intended to enter through the main entrance, but those doors were locked. Witnesses say the bravery of students, teachers, and medical staff likely saved many lives.
Stories will be told, the heroics of the parents, the dads that were there securing the doors at the perimeter, the principal and the priests that were running around.
In one instance, a nurse manager climbed into a CT scanner to comfort a young injured patient.
She put a little lead on and stayed there and held her hand and held her hair while she went through the scanner so she didn't have to go through it alone.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has deployed state law enforcement to support local churches and schools. In Minneapolis, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay's next with a complete look at your forecast and later a playful donation.
Costa and Joplin gets a brand new playhouse and leaders say it's a blessing in disguise. I'm Lonnie Walton in Joplin. I'll have that story coming up.
This week only.
Temperatures today only got up to the upper 60s. Now we can thank our overcast skies and rain for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our almanac. We got up to about 68, which is 20 degrees below average. Now our lows right on par with where we should be this time of year, but it definitely was a cooler day today. And quite a bit of us got a good amount of rain accumulation. Now you can see that just distinct line all the way from Yates Center down to Monette, where we had about 1.5 inches down south of Pittsburgh, and then north of Pittsburgh only 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Now the further south and southwest we go, out in Miami, about 3 inches of rain, but then we have this band from Independence down to even Fayetteville from 6 to 10 inches of rainfall accumulation. So quite a bit of rain today. Now we had a warm front that was moving in and it stalled out right over that area with the band that had the heaviest amount of rainfall. Just stalling out, just consistent rainfall right over the same area led to 6 to 10 inches of rain. But the rest of us just had overcast and drizzle all day long. Now we're still dealing with those overcast skies. You can see, taking a look at downtown Joplin, still some pretty cloudy skies out there, but the rain is out of here. And now we're just going to be dealing with some fog as we head into Friday morning. Now, all this fog starts to develop just after midnight tonight. All of the rain we got starting to evaporate, creating that dense patchy fog in the area. So by 3 to 4 a.m., already seeing less than half a mile visibility. Lamar, Iola, less than that in Fort Scott, nearly 0 mile visibility out there in the Fort Scott area. Aurora, now that continues to expand for most of us. Now here we are, 7 a.m. on Friday. So right when you're starting your day, walking out the door, going to school, going to work, very, very low visibility across the area. Burns off quickly, but it is going to be something that you want to keep in mind as we head through our morning. Now, outside of the fog, most of the day on Friday is going to be pretty good. Now, here we are Friday afternoon. Fog's pushing off. We already have some overcast skies, but those are going to be upper level clouds, so you get a lot of sunshine through that. And then heading into the afternoon, so when people are getting off work, heading out to enjoy your holiday weekend, we're going to see partly cloudy skies, but a lot of sunshine for the afternoon. That continues, partly cloudy skies through the overnight hours and into Saturday as well. Now Saturday by the morning, partly cloudy, a lot of sunshine though, but once we get into the afternoon, are going to start to see some pop-up showers, pop-up thunderstorms, typical for summertime, and most of us are going to stay dry, but we do get a lot of those dodging pop-up thunderstorms all weekend long, Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday. But these temperatures are going to be amazing in the mid-80s across the region for the entire weekend. Now, again, outside of those pop-up thunderstorms, which again are very isolated, most of us are going to stay dry. So overall, a pretty nice weekend. And then we're getting into next week where we're still bouncing around in the 80s and some more additional rain chances to come.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, pretty good temperatures, nice. No complaints there.
Yep, me either.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, still ahead, Riverton's team first mentality is helping them fill key holes on the field. We'll have the details coming up. Plus, the Titans of Columbus are looking to build off their playoff appearance from a year ago. These stories and more coming up in sports.
The Riverton Rams are coming off of back-to-back playoff sectional appearances, and as they enter the 2025 season, there'll be some new faces at different positions. With only 4 seniors on this year's roster, the Rams will rely on their large junior class and underclassmen to fill key spots. Head coach Danny Weaver says that the program isn't afraid to have freshmen take the field on Friday nights, and that depth is crucial to a successful team.
At our level in a 2A football, we feel like especially early, the team who's in the best shape and the team who can play more guys on the first Friday night has the best chance to win. So we like to get guys off the field. Sometimes our guys are two-way guys. They're going to play every defensive snap and every offensive snap. So we really start the season looking with what guys can we have that can come in and support us on special teams right now. So you have a chance to play here early if you can be a great special team guy. And I think our guys buy into that. We got guys that have been willing to change positions this year. Coach, I want on the field now.
And that team-first mentality has flourished for Riverton, with multiple skill position players making the move to the offensive line, where the Rams need to fill holes. The coaching staff credits this squad's bond and chemistry for the sacrifices made to better the team.
We got Roland Watkins. He came out, showed up at summer weights, put some weight on. Got Jared Moran. He's my grade, junior. He put some weight on, put some strength. He's ready to go. It definitely shows. You know the ones that are going hard, you know the ones that are slacking, so it definitely shows.
For kids to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I can to help everyone else out. And it's a really close-knit bunch of guys, and I think that ties into it. When your kids get along and they believe in each other, they're willing to do whatever it takes to help their buddy. So that philosophy that they've kind of adopted, obviously as a coach, every coach preaches that, man, team first, team first. But until those cats that are out here doing it every day in the heat and getting banged up on Friday nights, until they buy into it, it doesn't work, and they're a family.
Riverton kicks off their 2025 schedule at home against the Lions of Baxter Springs next Friday. Last year, the Columbus Titans returned to the playoffs with a regionals appearance, and as the season starts in just over a week, the Titans are looking to build off of 2024. With sights set on another playoff run this year, Columbus is learning from their mistakes a year ago. The focus going into 2025 is to never be satisfied and continue to work each and every week for something better and something more.
The big thing for us is just to maintain consistency. We had our first winning season
in 3 years last year. At the end of last year, the big thing we battled was complacency. After you go through those struggles in the summer, the preseason, going through those struggles, losing ball games, come back to win ball games, and then figuring out what it takes to win, you kind of lose sight of that at times. So this group knows what it takes to win, and they've just got to know that they've got to put in just as much work as every class before them to maintain that success.
All offseason, the Titans have battled the outside noise, with the community thinking that they will take a step back this season. However, Columbus has used that noise as motivation for every practice and every rep, getting ready to prove those doubters wrong.
Public perception in Columbus, Kansas is this group's going to take a step back. And they don't want to be a group that takes a step back. That's not how they want to be remembered. And so, again, perception in our community is these guys are going to struggle this year. And I just think that's really what's driving them right now. It's what's driving me as a coach, is to help them have that success and prove people wrong. I honestly lean into it. Tell them, like, hey, these people don't think much of you, and that should motivate you each and every week. And when they think a lot of you, that should motivate you even more to play harder.
We've already been written off the script, so that's been our motivation all summer long, just to keep that back in the mind, just keep on going. Really keeps us motivated, just to keep on pushing, just made us stronger, faster.
Columbus opens their season on the road against Independence next Friday, September 5th. Volleyball season has arrived in the 4 states, with 4 local high school teams beginning their seasons tonight in a jamboree at Pittsburgh High School. It's Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Frontenac, and Colgan squaring off in a season opening tournament. Marin Stumo, she'll serve it up here on this first highlight for the Purple Dragons. Lucy Anderson for Frontenac, she's going to be able to return it. Then on the opposite side, Mackenzie English dives, digs it out, and the Raiders can't return it, giving Pittsburgh the point on this one. Later in the match, you're going to see Stumo still serving. Ellie Bloom, she'll be the one serving it up on the opposite end for Frontenac, up to Brecklin Condon, who serves the point and gets it for the Raiders with this perfectly placed kill. Let's head over to the other court where Fort Scott is taking on Colgan. Izzy Tierney, she's going to set up for Reagan Krager, and her attack can't be returned as she gets the kill on this one. Now it's going to go the opposite end, and it's still going to be Fort Scott on the defensive side. Bella Asanio, she's going to serve it up to Fort Scott. Kendall Aiken sets up Kipton Hungsniker, and she gets the kill with a powerful attack. The 4 schools just getting their seasons underway with some action to open the season. The wait is over. Pitt State football is back as they open their season on the road against top-ranked Ferris State in a rematch from last year. Gorillas looking to make it back-to-back years with a win over the Bulldogs. Opening drive for Pitt State, Jackson Berry looking downfield, connects with Grayson Holbert for a gain of 35 yards, setting up Austin Schmidt, who nails this 47-yard field goal. 3-0 Gorillas. Ensuing drive for Ferris, moving quickly down the field, quarterback Wyatt Bower would punch it in from a short distance to give the Bulldogs a 7-3 lead. Pitt State looking to respond, third down their own territory. Barry looking for Holbert again, but he can't connect with them, and the Gorillas are forced to punt. Bulldogs back in PSU territory. Bower charging up the middle for a first down, and he would set up Zach Ahern for the score, making it 14-3. Pitt State falls in their season opener 34-17 against the Bulldogs.
Wasn't it exactly an easy match for the very first game?
Not at all. When you had to go up against a top-ranked team in your first game, that doesn't get any easier. Next week they go to Central Oklahoma before finally coming back home for their season opener. But yet again, they're facing number 3 in their season opener at home.
And that's the home opener, the number 3 team in the nation.
Yeah, so the gauntlet is real, but if we know anything about this Pitt State team, they love this type of competition, and they're going to bounce back from this one.
That's right. We're back with more news after this. CASA employees receive a pleasant surprise, the gift of a storm-proof playhouse. The initial cost made the children's advocates in Joplin believe the project was out of reach. But as KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, a local church stepped in to make the project a reality.
In the summer, I had approached my boss, Debbie, about getting a playhouse for our backyard.
Erica Freeborn is a CASA employee in Joplin. She had wishes of having a playhouse, but had trouble finding a good deal.
It'd be a little pricey and maybe not exactly what we wanted, and so we approached Brad, who works here as well, and he said he could build us something.
Brad Crane is the advocate supervisor for CASA. He's the one responsible for building this playhouse, but he didn't do it alone.
Kansas City University had their We Care Day. They sent me 9 volunteers, and they helped me pull it off of my trailer and put the pieces out here, and we got 90% of the frame together.
Now, Crane thought he had enough funding to complete the project, but underestimated it. But things took a turn when he received an unexpected phone call from First Baptist Church in Diamond.
Gave us $1,700, which was like $200 more than I expected this to actually cost.
Now, this congregation had no idea of Casa's situation. Tivis Booth is the pastor.
Didn't round the number or anything. It's definitely a God thing that it worked out, and we were excited that it did.
This playhouse is weatherproof according to Brad, and top-notch security.
Any direction you should be able to see inside. The inside doesn't have any, the trusses are open, so as long as you're under 7 foot tall, you can stand up inside.
Just is a safe space, even when doing pretend play.
And leaders tell me the playhouse will hopefully bring joy to children for a long time. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, Casa says Jasper County currently has more than 350 children in foster care. They say volunteers are always needed. Up next, Bon Jovi is turning up the volume with some famous friends. Plus, Emma Roberts switches up her rom-com game with a murder mystery. Those stories and more in Hollywood Nation. Nicolas Cage, Emma Roberts, and Bon Jovi headline today's Hollywood Nation. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with the latest.
Cage takes on holy horror, Roberts stirs up a rom-com twist, and Bon Jovi rocks with music royalty in the Hollywood Nation. Bon Jovi is turning up the volume with some famous friends. The Grammy-winning Rock and Roll Hall of Famers will drop Forever Legendary Edition October 24th. The star-studded project reimagines songs from their 2024 album, Forever, featuring Bruce Springsteen, Lainey Wilson, Jelly Roll, and more. The lead single, Red, White, and Jersey, and the Springsteen collaboration, Hollow Man, arrived Friday. Emma Roberts is switching up her rom-com game with a murder mystery twist. Deadline reports she'll star in the book-to-screen adaptation A Murder Uncorked. Roberts will play a down-on-her-luck actress who finds love and opportunity at a Napa winery, but must solve a murder before her dream life unravels. Production starts in 2026. Nicolas Cage steps into sacred territory in today's first looks. Magnolia Pictures released a teaser trailer for The Carpenter's Son, a biblical thriller reimagining the childhood of Jesus. Cage, FKA Twigs, and Noah Jupe will play the Holy Family facing terrifying forces in Roman Egypt. The film arrives this fall. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of quokkas hanging out in Rotten Nest Island, Australia. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.